Hey, welcome back. Man, the finals are going on. Our favorite team has been eliminated, but hey, we are here to give you the finals. We're here to keep talking about basketball because that's what we're obsessed with. But you know what? Joining me, I had to bring back because, we had such a great time talking to him last time. The man, the legend, James Hollis, a.k.a. Snotty Drippin', a.k.a. the funniest dude you know, and a.k.a., according to your bio, one of the nicest guys we know. What's going on, James?
You can't see me right now, but I just did the three fingers like Russ Westbrook after and halted him after you did the whole lead in. So I appreciate it, man. How's it going?
Appreciate it, man. I'm doing good. Doing good. Ready to talk about let's talk about the finals, man. Just because as you know, I got all the fans around me reminding me that their team is in the finals. So I figured, let me talk about it. So what kind of happened in that first game between the Cavs and the Warriors? We saw, Curry and Clay, get to some bad shooting, real bad shooting, and really the bench saved them and bailed them out, man. But what does the casual fan like myself like? What would I have missed from that?
I mean, you nailed it. It's kind of troubling it should be troubling for Cleveland fans that they can hold Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, the most explosive backcourt in the league today, to 20 points and still lose by 15. I think that was the Cleveland's we're not in Kansas anymore Toto moment.
Yeah,
As far as hey, they breezed through the Eastern Conference. They're the bullies of the East, hands down. Toronto took a couple games from them, but I mean, did anybody really believe Toronto was going to end up upsetting them? No.
no,
This is the first time they've been punched in the mouth in the playoffs. Last year they weren't full strength, so they gave it all great. Again, the finals. This is the first time they've seen full strength Golden State in the playoffs and been full strength, and they came up, short. So I think it's a case of Cleveland maybe not being ready for that level of play, and for Golden State, it's funny. Even though Steph and Clay didn't play well, I think the rest of the team was kind of unshackled. OKC has the long-limbed athletic defenders. OKC executed their game plan perfectly and made life rough for Golden State in general. Cleveland didn't have that kind of defensive discipline. And as you saw, Sean Livingston just got into space, got his shots. Barbosa was able to get off the line and do, kind of what he wanted in limited minutes. Iguodala and Harrison Barnes found space and was in rhythm. Things that they couldn't develop against OKC because of that, that athleticism, and the defense was so swift. I mean, they just kind of got what they wanted. And even though Cleveland's game plan to kind of cut off the head of the snake with bottle up Clay and Steph, hey, they did it fine. But if you do that, you can't just let the other guys kind of get loose, and that was their problem.
man. Do you think like there might be some nerves happening or whatever with well, Kyrie played one game and but kind of like with love in this because I don't know how to evaluate like watching him because it seemed like he was kind of off with the shooting, but at the same time, a couple of times they posted him up, he got some good looks, but just missed the finish.
Yeah, I can't call it nerves, especially because I think he came out red hot in the first half, and I want to say he scored like 10 or 12 first half points. And he looked decent, he was hitting shots. It's not nerves, it's his limitations. I mean, there was one play I remember in particular, I think early in the third, where he was trying to post up and he was backing his man down and he was making headway. This is a great example of why post ups now aren't so embraced. He's backing his man down and he goes to turn to shoot and he didn't see the double team coming and he ends up flipping up a shot off the side of the backboard.
Yeah.
And it's one of those. It just kind of highlights he's not explosive. He's a skilled player, but it's almost like the roles were reversed for Golden State, where they were facing the longer, more athletic team in OKC. Now they are that athletic team that's going to give Cleveland fits. So, yeah, I can't put nerves. He's a what, 7, 8 year, 9 vet. I'm not gonna give him the nerves out.
Okay. I was just making excuses for him. I don't know.
I mean, he 17-13. The stat line looks great, but
Oh yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
what a lot of people say, I mean, it's been prognosticated. he's just not a very good defender. The play I remember the most, Steph was coming off a screen and roll, and he just easily split Kyrie and Kevin Love and ended up at the rim, and he blew the layup. But I mean, it was amazing how easy he just kind of sauntered into the lane and it got to the rim. So
that's kind of something I thought about with Steph. He's like, oh wait, my matchup, at least at the point guard position, isn't Westbrook, who when he's on defense, he's really good, but it's Kyrie now. That's interesting to see. Oh man, yeah, I kind of noticed that the difference between the two teams, Thunder, at least defensively, is just they are a long team. Even when they go quote unquote small, it's like you still got Durant, who's huge, D'ing up Curry, and I bet you like Thunder fans are looking at this game and are like, oh, now Klay Thompson wants to miss.
I mean, it's partially because OKC became a little unglued in those late games and they let him get into space. But yeah, and it's partially because I mean the stakes were at the highest and he knew it. And hey, I tipped my cap to Golden State. Klay and Steph just went next level in Game 7, 6, and 7, and so I mean it is what it is. I mean this was Game 1. Game 1 you was kind of feeling that game. I don't think Steph wasn't really forcing the issue. Klay was just off. I mean hell, one game against OKC he missed his first 7 or 8 shots or something.
Yeah.
So it's not like he can't get rolling. That doesn't matter. They just didn't need him to because I remember Cleveland took the lead briefly in the third, and then I want to say Iguodala and Livingston like by themselves outscored Cleveland the rest of the quarter. It's an impressive game, man. They really Golden State really displayed their depth and versatility in Game 1.
So you're speaking of the Warriors Thunder. So this is something I kind of wanted to talk with somebody for a while. So all the listeners out there, if you. I may be going sidetracked here, but we're going back to the Warriors Thunder right here. So how do I put this? I've heard a lot of people say like the Thunder choked the game away, and I'm hearing like a lot of people saying like, hey, Warriors actually had a play. Which was it? Like, did the Thunder choke, or was it just kind of like that good of a series that, whatever?
My answer is yes. Yes, both happened. The Thunder definitely choked away Game 6. You're at home. You have the lead. You can't score 12 points in the third quarter, and it's not just the fact they scored 12. And you give credit to Golden State's defense. It's the way they did it. Down the stretch in Game 6, I think the last 2.5, 3 minutes, they didn't get a shot off. It was all turnovers and that's unacceptable. I'm going to call that a choke job. I guess people are. It's weird to see. I watched it too. There was a certain sector of population that was so adamant on just it's not a choke. It's not a choke. They lost to the best team. That's fine. You lost to the one of the best teams of all time, but you were up going into the third, and you had a chance to win it, and you didn't because of bad shots and terrible decision making. That's choking. Now, overall in the series, sure. I mean, they weren't expected to win the series. Golden State did something, only 9 teams before they ever done and came back from a 3-1 deficit. They did make the shots in Game 7. I mean, Steph and Klay were just, especially Klay was nuclear. He went just lights out those last 2 games. You tip your hat to that. So, yeah. And, they did what they were supposed to do, and they won that series. They defend their home court. But, yes, Game 6 was definitely a choke job. Kevin Durant didn't play well. Westbrook was out of control. It is what it is, and I love both those guys.
It was tough to watch, just because it seemed like once Golden State took the lead, or once they tied it up, it seemed like the ball didn't move as much with the Thunder when that happened. It just seemed like all of a sudden it was like I'm starting to see kind of like the stagnant play that comes with less scoring, I guess you would say, with my.
I want to say like in games 1 through 4, I did the math and I can't remember clear, but I think Durant was taking 23 shots a game and Russ was taking like 18, and then games 5 through 7, it jumped to like 27 shots for KD and like 23 or 24 for Russ, and it does. I mean, there's truth to what they say. A lot of people were saying that those guys quit trusting their teammates and they start taking these bulk of these shots, and even if it's not good shots, both their shooting percentage plummeted, but now they're taking more shots, and it's like the team kind of crumbled.
Do you think it's kind of like a fall to the mean? Because I remember the games that they were winning. What's his name? Roberson was actually hitting some shots, and everyone. Well, I don't know. Do you think it was kind of like a fall to the mean? Because I was just thinking some of the shots they were making, I was like, I wonder if they can keep this up. Is what I was wondering.
Yeah, it's somewhat regression to the mean, and this is the question, right? Chicken or the egg? Were KD and Russ taking more shots because their guys were missing, or were their guys out of rhythm because they weren't getting enough shots because KD and Russ were taking them all? Huh. But yeah, but it's definitely Roberson. I mean, you can't expect Roberson. We know who he is after over years, and all of a sudden hits a few shots. So we know who he is, though. But he had a nice little hot streak. But even so, it's like there was I think a time in Game 7 where KD was just screaming on Roberson because he passed up an open three, and he's right. But I mean, I would even say a nerves thing with Roberson's first time playing such important minutes, important games. I'd give him the nerves pass, but it is what it is, man. The team just the moment got a little too bright for them, and they regressed back to who they were. KD and Russ trying to do everything.
Okay, so then my second part of my question to this is, what's your thought on Russell Westbrook shooting? Because I keep hearing from a lot of people, reading everywhere, he's not a great three-point shooter, and I don't know. He is so entertaining to watch, but it's just some of the times I see him put up shots, and I'm like, what are you what are you doing? But I don't know. What are your thoughts on this so I can have like a definite kind of thought on him shooting?
Russ is my favorite player currently in the NBA. I love his energy. I love his passion. I love his talent. I love his athleticism. And I think being a fan of a player can blind you to a lot of things. And well, not even that. I mean, I think in the last couple of years, he's definitely been a top 3, and to me, a top 2 point guard, because I think only Steph has surpassed him in the last couple of years. But the more I watch him, those things, they separate him. And I can understand when people say, well, Chris Paul's a better point guard, because Chris Paul will make the right decision 95% of the time, down the stretch, whatever. Decision-making has to play a part in your evaluation of a player, and Russ just does not make very good decisions sometimes. It kind of hurts me to admit that, because I love the kid and I want to see him succeed. But if he makes better decisions down the stretch in Game 6 and Game 7, it's a different ballgame. If he plays smarter, if he doesn't pull up those random three-pointers with 17 seconds left in the shot clock, if he doesn't just take a foray into the lane with no idea where to go. There was a play, I think, Game 6, where he kind of KD got the switch that he wanted and had Klay Thompson on him. He ran the Russ KD pick and roll, and they got the switch. And for some reason, Russ tried to take Iguodala and ended up like with a little post move, and of course he got stripped and it's going the other way. Those are the kind of plays that just murder you. Those kind of turnovers just kill you. And so I love his talent for 45 minutes of the game. Those last 3 minutes, he just has to get better. He has to be smarter.
I love the guy. It's like he's always playing with the turbo button on, just because, in the sense, he never goes for just the easy layup if he can. It's always like, this leaner that'll have him sprawled out on the ground. Or it's like you never see him run out of energy. And that's always, I don't know, the fun thing to see, just because he always has to go with the emphatic dunk or something like that. I just don't get how he keeps doing it. And I love it. I love it for that. He kind of turned me into actually becoming more of a fan of his.
It's funny. I went the opposite way, watched him in this series, because they were so close. They were right there. And no, I'll never not be a fan of his. I'm more realistic about what he needs to do and what he brings to the table. That when you're the emotional leader of your team, you got to keep your emotions in check. And he didn't always do that. He was him and like I said, him and Durant kind of melted down at the end of that Game 6, and that was ugly to see.
Are we going to see another Mr. Unreliable news post? Makes me wonder.
No, I think the Oklahoma City newspapers and media outlet learned their lesson from the first time, and especially now with Durant entering free agency, they're going to treat him with kid gloves. So there's nothing more about there.
You say kid gloves, I'm like, more than he has already, but.
Yeah, I get it, man. It's funny because it's like I see people, people ask the question validly, like, when is he gonna get criticism? When is he gonna start getting ripped? But at the same time, it's like when people do get ripped, a lot of times it's kind of unfairly. I mean,
Yeah.
But I have been surprised by the lack of heat he's taken, because he didn't play well in the West Conference Finals. He played his defense was amazing, and his defense was we'll talk about it later if you want. His defense was next level.
No, go ahead.
But
go ahead.
No, offensively, offensively on a team that's designed for him to play well offensively, you're not going to win if you don't play well offensively. But yeah, I think another big difference between Golden State and now against Cleveland and Golden State versus OKC, there's not a Kevin Durant in Cleveland, because he was protecting the rim. He was switching the perimeter and like not just contain. He'd guard Steph Curry well. He was he was coming weak side blocks, verticality. He was phenomenal. I've never seen him defend like that before. And LeBron, as great as LeBron was in his prime defensively, and he's still in the tail end of his prime, he just can't do that anymore. He can't. He's not quite as versatile and not as long as Kevin Durant is. So that might be a difference maker defensively for Cleveland. They just don't have a Kevin Durant.
Durant was amazing to me defensively, just because I guess not only because Oklahoma City's whole thing was when they were switching. It was just like how he would get in the way of passes as well. Like how they would have to get the ball to Curry. Normally they can just go with the simple bounce pass or dribble handoff or something. Durant was, because he's so long and because he was just so active on the defensive end, he was getting in the way of the passes to me. And it was just like, you have to like throw it over this 7-footer who has his, arms outstretched. It was amazing to me, just like, because I was like, wow, he's slowing him down. And whenever he had his hand up, Curry, normally you see Curry just like take the shot without hesitation. I actually saw Curry kind of hesitate at least a couple times. I was like, wow, I don't know. It kind of opened my eyes to it. And I might be weird just for noticing that just then. Just because Durant seems to have some sort of, I guess, like biased or thing where people think he's a bad defender, which I'm guessing is from his first few years in the league. I don't know.
No, and it's true for most of his career. I'll say the first couple of years he was bad. He's been decent for most of his career, but I mean, when a guy has such an offensive load, it's I hate to say unfair, because some guys do it, like Paul George and Jimmy Butler, but we do understand as a collective. We understand when an offensive player takes a break or gets maybe not as intense defensively as you want him to be. So seeing that full-fledged effort from him, I don't think we could see it for a whole season. He'd burn himself out. But seeing it in the series was really eye-opening. It was.
Yes. And for those people at home that don't believe that, go out and play at the park or something. Try to be active on defense. It'll tire you out. Or I'm just out of shape, one of the two. I don't know.
I mean, we see it all the time. Even that's why when people say, "Oh, Curry's not a good defender," well, he's a good defender. He's a decent defender, and he's a capable defender. But they just don't put him on an intense defensive assignment because you don't want to. He has so much of a load to carry on offense. It just makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense if you have better long defenders in the perimeter. Let them take the tougher defense, and let you want to conserve his energy because he has such a huge load on offense.
True. Now, how do I ask this? I mean this in a halfway joking manner when you say that. But what's the excuse for guys that are just like killed for their defense, like Irving or Dame?
And honestly, some guys just were never really taught the correct way to play defense, and now here they are as pros, and they're behind the power curve.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's just like offensive talent, so is defense. I think some guys it's not natural to them. It's like some guy like Tony Allen. You twitch an eyebrow to the left and he's on it. Some guys just have to think, and it's a read and react kind of thing. And you can scheme, and make them look capable. But yeah, it's a talent like anything else, I think. And yes, a lot of it is effort and hard work. And some guys like Steph Curry went from being a poor defender to being better just by putting a lot of effort and working hard at it. So I don't know. I won't make any excuses for anybody. Some guys are good defenders. Some guys are bad defenders.
Good on Curry, man, for that. So Something you mentioned about you were talking about Durant, and this kind of makes me want to go back to the finals, but talk about the other team in the finals. Currently down 1-0 is LeBron. So when talking about kind of like criticism Durant gets, there's oftentimes that I watch games, and even if LeBron has eliminated, the home team, this podcast, multiple times in the playoffs, and has just been just a thorn and just I don't know all the bad things in the world. Besides your guy Paul Pierce, man, but besides all that, there are times I watch Durant and something happened to him, and I wonder, I'm like, man, if that were if LeBron did this in this situation, he would get killed by the critics. So I don't know. It just makes me think, man. Do you think? Well, let me ask you. Do you think criticism on LeBron is too much, justified, or I don't know?
I think when you're tagged the best player of your generation, which I think LeBron's gonna end up being, and I say LeBron was the pretty much the hands down best player in the league from like 2007 till about maybe last year.
Yeah.
So we're talking a good 8, 9. So when you have that target on your back, you're going to get criticism. I think he invited a lot of it with the decision and the whole pep rally in Miami. I mean, you put yourself in that kind of spotlight, you're going to get criticism. I think the King James nickname gives people feel like they have oh, you call yourself the king, we're gonna criticize you like that. I'm not saying it's right, but I think a lot of it, and also a lot of it is the way he carries himself, which he's a great player. He's a physically imposing player. A lot of people, they almost want to punish him for that, and I don't think that's fair. He's an outspoken athlete about his talents, and I think people look at that as arrogance. And is it some arrogance? Of course it is. He's a pro athlete, and is it a bad thing? No, it's not. But they treat it like a bad thing. And I've been speaking out a lot about how it's amazing how differently him and Steph Curry are viewed, even though I think they have a lot of similarities. And Steph Curry, it's embraced and it's lovable, and it's the point guard, the underdog. He's making it, and he's such a good kid, and all this. He's humble, and he's not humble. It's amazing to me. So yeah, I think a lot of the LeBron criticism is unwarranted. I think a lot of it stretches back to a lot of it. He's already like dispelled a lot of these myths and rumors that go around about him. He's not clutch. He can't play in big games. He can't. Come on. He has 2 rings, and he was the man on those teams. It's silly to still go over some of the stuff that he gets.
Basically, like every year, at least to me, he is the man, and I don't know. Say what you want. A lot of the teams he would drag to the playoffs.
I mean, come on, dude. 6 straight finals, man. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now I will say this: I was watching game 1. There was it's obvious now that he's not the 27, 28-year-old LeBron. He was slow on rotations. Iguodala and Harrison Barnes were wide open because guess who was guarding him on those plays? It was LeBron James. He's missing layups, which that's a game 1 anomaly. I'm not gonna ding him for missing layups. He even in single coverage this year versus Iguodala versus last year, it's been a year and another season to play. He's not quite as powerful and dominant in the post. It's happening right before our eyes. I mean, he's still LeBron James, but he's not LeBron James with an exclamation point.
I remember. Well, if you're watching like the first, fans out there, guys out there, listeners, if you're watching the first, I guess like quarter or less than a quarter, LeBron seemed to be getting to the rim at will, and he was just so quick. But it just seemed like I don't know. He got tired by halftime, and at least to me, I don't know if that's what you saw at all. Well, I was just saying, just because of you saying he got slow in rotations.
No, and he was defensively. LeBron James used to be a terror, and he still can be in spurts. It's just, I mean, Matt Moore of CBS Sports or HP Basketball, HP Basketball as he's known on Twitter. Yes. He actually, he had a couple screenshots and talking about how LeBron was just, hey, why is Iggy open right here? And he's, there's LeBron with his back to Iggy taking the wide open jump shot. LeBron's 12 feet away, just kind of not even out there on him. Same thing with Barnes. Barnes at the top of the key shooting a jumper, and LeBron's 8 feet away, just kind of standing there watching him. those are the kind of plays. I mean, this is the finals, and I'm pretty sure. I'm going to respect LeBron and Ty Lue. They're going to watch the game tape and they'll talk about this kind of thing, and they're going to try to make sure it doesn't happen again. Problem with that, though, guess what? You start playing up like that and those guys, and all of a sudden Steph and Clay can shake loose a little easier. So it's a pick your poison thing with Golden State. It really is, and I'm really interested to see what kind of adjustments they try to come with in game 2, Cleveland at least. What try to come with? Tristan Thompson wasn't great last game. I mean, what do you want? J.R. Smith, maybe that hand was bothering him, but he was terrible. It was just not really a good game for Cleveland. So they're going to they have to come in with a much better effort this game. They want a chance in this series.
You have to understand, watching the Cavs right now is just infuriating the fan base for us, just because we're magically seeing J.R. Smith miss all these shots. Same with everyone else. I'm like, where was this, 2 rounds ago? Suddenly,
I don't think people realize that coming into this series, it was J.R. Smith, not Kyrie, not Kevin Love. J.R. Smith led that team in 3-pointers made and was like, I think just, he was shooting like 46% from 3. He was a flamethrower the first 3 rounds. And so, team go 1 for 3 must be kind of frustrating for Hawks fans.
Him and Channing Frye as well. But him, Channing Frye, Love, but hey, you know what? Things happen. As many listening on here, I think my prediction for that series, Hawks Cavs, I said it was going to be a sweep, although I wish it wasn't. Garrett killed me for it. He's like, Josh, I can't believe you said it's a sweep. I think 5 games. And I was like, oh, okay.
Hey, let me be the interviewer for a second, man, because Atlanta season's over. Okay, it's a 2-part question. One, what do you think about those Teague for Nerlens rumors? And 2, what would that mean for Al Horford? I got my own ideas, but I want to hear what you think about that.
I was going to talk about that later. And again, you're talking to an incredibly biased an incredibly biased Teague fan after having to watch the crap show of point guards we've gotten before he came. But, I mean, Dennis is what, 22? To me, he's kind of further along in respectively in his career than where Jeff was when he started way back when. And also, I think he has points. He shows like parts where he can be a better defender than what Jeff was. So you have to go with youth. I think if you get the opportunity to get something for Jeff, which is shocking to me that Nerlens Noel was actually offered, because we talked about how there was that rumor about the Jazz wanting a point guard for, the 12th pick. I said, now if we can throw a draft pick in Jeff, we can hope to get that. But Nerlens, that's actually, that gives us something that we don't have, youth kind of at that position that Nerlens plays, athleticism at that position. And if anything, like, you kind of look at Splitter and you were like, Splitter, you were out for a season. I don't know. That's my quick answer about that. Basically saying if it's a straight up trade, I would take it. I would take it so hard because I don't think we're going to get anything that's kind of better than that. Especially,
I also heard they were talking about throwing in Robert Covington in that deal.
Yeah, I read that, and I read Stauskas, and I was just kind of like, Covington. So, okay, I haven't had time to look this up. What exactly is Covington? Is he small forward, power forward? Because I'm looking at him.
Covington is a 6'10" swingman who has shown he can hit the 3. He's long. I think he can defend. He is. I mean, I think almost every team would drool over a chance to acquire Covington. The fact that Philly is offering Noel and Covington for Teague, to me, is mind-boggling, and I'm already curious as to where the Colangelos are going right now.
Well, okay, I thought
Hello, you're breaking up, man. Hello? Did I lose you? Hello, hello? Hello?